Azores, the island. So Azores, we have, as Portugal, we have two sets of islands that are part of our country. So in here you have a little bit of an overview of the country itself. Lisbon being the capital, our second city is Porto. And then we have the set of islands of Azores, that there are 9 islands, and also the islands of Madeira, which is a combination of 3 islands. So Azores is located 2.5 hours from Lisbon. And it's 1 hour behind Portugal in UK, 2 hours behind Germany in your case. Like I said, we have 9 islands in the archipelagos, but because of what it has to offer and also the capacity to accommodate MICE groups, we only work currently with the biggest island, which is this one, which is Sao Miguel Island. So it's the one with more offer, with more hotels, and also in terms of facilities, in terms of transportation, staff, and mindset. In our perspective of the detailed service, it's the one that we believe that offers the more to the better quality and manage better expectations when it comes to MICE groups. So just for you to locate a little bit south of the island is not that big. If you take a car around the island, it takes you 1 day to go around, so it's not huge. And most of everything is concentrated in what we call the belly of the island, which is this straightened area near Ponta Delgada, which is the capital of the island. The airport is located 10 minutes from Ponta Delgada, and most of the hotels are located between Ponta Delgada and Ribeira Grande. Just for you to have an idea, from Ponta Delgada to Ribeira Grande takes you 25 minutes. So even if you're staying in the north part of the island, in the beach areas, you can easily come into the city. It's easy connected to the airport and with the island itself. Normally, when we do groups, and this is important for you to see if this destination fits your groups, for me, there are certain points that we have to have in mind. First point is the size of the group. More than 40, I'm going to be honest, I did 40 to 50 people, but to be comfortable, 40, it's the perfect size for a group in Azores. Why? Because of the restaurant's capacities, because of transportation, but mostly because of the activities. Unfortunately, because it's not a big island, it's not that touristic, we don't have a huge quantity of jeeps, quads, things to do with a group that could go over 40 people. If we have a group bigger than that, we'll always have to divide. And as you know, groups don't like to be divided. So for me, the ideal number is 40 people. Also very important, there has to be people that love nature, because this is completely stop from the world, and you're going to see through the pictures and the activities and the locations that I'm going to show you that it's all about nature. It's also very curious. It's the first sustainable archipelagos in terms of tourism in the world, and also one thing that you're going to see through the pictures too, it's the green of the island. It's considered one of the most green islands of whole Europe, and there's a reason why. We have the 4 seasons during the year, and especially, of course, during the year, but we can feel it in one day because the weather always changes. It's a tropical area, a microclimate, so we can start the day with beautiful sun, and then in the afternoon we have some drizzle rain, or the opposite. The best time to go to Azores, it's between May until end of October. It's when we have the chances to get better weather, but in terms of temperatures, they are always mild all year round. We have the minimum there, it's around 15 degrees, and the maximum it's 25. So that never changes unless we have, with the weather these days could be a little bit crazy, but this is the average all year round, between 15 and 25 degrees. So it's very important that the people that you bring into the island are people that are relaxed, that they like to have some sneakers, they like to walk, they like to be in the nature. If there's a little bit of wind, if there's a little bit of rain, if they go into the boat, into the ocean, they are not bothered by a little splash of the waves. It's very important to have that mindset when coming to the groups. It's also not a location where you have big shopping and high-end restaurants and those kind of glamour of luxury. Doesn't exist. It's very indigenous, very local, and for me, that's the special side about the island. In terms of flight connections, just for you to have an idea, this is what's happening this summer. What the good news is that we strongly believe by the tourism board of Azores that the Azores airline, the Lufthansa flights, they will keep all year round because unfortunately or fortunately, the tourism is growing in the island. Edelweiss Air from Zurich is the one that we don't know if it's going to stay after summer. Nevertheless, there's always a combination that you can do via Lisbon or via Porto. Okay. Hotels wise, we have several. I'm just going to highlight you some of them. The first one I'm going to mention is the Octant, which is a Portuguese brand, was the first 5-star property in the island, and that opened, if I'm not mistaken, 5 years ago. And to be honest, is the one that we use the most for several reasons. First, it's really well located. Second, the service, it's amazing. They're very flexible. They're very open. All the rooms look the same. So if you want to offer the same category, the only difference is the suites. So in the suites, if I'm not mistaken, there are around 15 suites. So imagine all the rooms, they look exactly the same. They all have views to the ocean, no views to the back. And in terms of space, they're very spacious. Another good thing the hotel has, it's this amazing rooftop there. We can privatize for events with views over the marina. Sorry, this picture, I really like it, but it's looking back. If you look in front, you see the marina in the ocean, which has an amazing sunset. Second option of hotel, this is the second 5-star in the city itself. This used to be a 4-star for many, many years, was totally refurbished 3 years ago and opened as a 5-star property. It belongs to a Azoren group of hotels. And it's a more classic option, and it shows all the Azoren tradition and the luxury from the 50s, 60s. You feel it, this kind of glamour in the hotel. But it's a little bit more classic, a little bit more formal than the previous one. Okay. Also, I wanted to mention this property. It is a smaller property. It's a 4-star property, but with a touch of 5. Why? Because the owner of this hotel, she used to work for Ritz-Carlton Worldwide many years. Her family is from Azores, and she moved back, and she did this hotel from scratch. Also opened, if I'm not mistaken, 7 or 8 years ago. And it's a very small. They're amazing for exclusive, especially if you have this number of people coming. You know, even if there are some doubles, 40, 50 people, this perfect to do exclusivities. And it's a property that is very relaxed, with really great accommodation, and has this amazing outdoor space. Also located in the city of Ponta Delgada, so very easy access everywhere in the island. Just to mention one of our recent opened last year, it's the Villa Galé collection. It used to be a former hospital and has this amazing pool. And it's also located in Ponta Delgada, and it's when you're looking for a more affordable 4-star option and more clean, and especially if you have a little bit of, if you want to locate your budget in a different way, this could be a nice option. The last hotel I wanted to mention is the Furnas. This is not located in Ponta Delgada. This is located in the inner land of the island, and I'm going to show you that area a little bit further down. This is also a really nice boutique hotel. It's more of a retreat option, and they all have their own thermal area. It's very into spa treatment, works really well. And this is the area of the spa. I have some other options here. This is also Santa Barbara, that is kind of a property, resort property with apartments, with direct access to the beach, as you can see, in the north part of the island. In Ribeira Grande, the one that I said, it was 25 minutes from Ponta Delgada. And Pedras do Mar is also a more resort-feeling hotel, also in the north part of the island, as you can see, with walking distance from the cliffs of the ocean. In terms of activities, to be honest, is the part that I love the most about the island is the things that you can see. This is just a glimpse of the VCC. So one thing that we use a lot in our programs, and because a lot of the access, of course, being an island and people live there, you have really good roads, you also have a highway, but the most amazing parts of the islands are the ones that you don't have access on a daily thing. And this is the off-road because of the volcano craters. So the island, I don't know if you saw at the beginning, it has 3 lakes. It has 3 extinct volcanoes. Actually, there are 4 in total, and I'm going to show you the 4th later on. And it's all surrounded by forests and by these incredible landscapes that you only have access with jeeps. So we often use this to combine on our activities as an off-road jeep, as a mean of transportation. So people see sides of the island that the normal tourists don't see, and we can create this experience. We can combine with picnics, with other activities. It works really well. If you want to bring a little bit more adrenaline, we also have the capacity to do this kind of off-road, but with quads and buggy buggies. Sometimes we combine it. We have an afternoon or a morning of jeeps with an afternoon of buggies, or we can do one day of jeeps and a day of buggies, and people can explore it in different ways. And it's really, really, really fun. We were just there. I don't know if you saw in the STR social media and also in the communications. We just had a fun trip to Azores last March with some of our clients. Unfortunately, the weather was not the best, but we had the chance to experience some of these activities because it was winter, was the only time of the year where we could bring the group. But it gave a glimpse, and I'm sure that everyone that attended want to return where the weather is much better. Another activity that works really well, and we also did it last March, is the canyoning. Because of the humidity of the island and the greenery, there's a lot of waterfalls, a lot of creeks, a lot of lakes. And a way to explore it is with this fun activity that we do with teams. We do a little bit of hiking up the hill, and then we have the chance to come down the rivers by doing rappel, slide, jumping, and works really well. The activities is 100% safe, works for everyone except the ones with back problems or, very serious bone problems. But anyone that is active, it works really well, and it's a really, really nice and unique way to see the lush green and this kind of tropical. A lot of our clients, when they arrive to Azores, they say, it's like being in Jurassic Park. I'm just waiting for one of the dinosaurs to fly around or another one come into the water, because it's so green and so unexplored that it's like an European Hawaii. Talking about that feeling of being in the lush and in the greens, because of its of the volcanoes and the geothermal energy the island has, we have several hot springs in the island, and we have the possibility of enjoying, especially we do it at the end of the day, to bring our guests to enjoy these waters. The waters are between 24 and 38 degrees, and we have several options. This one I'll show you, it's my favorite one because it's in the middle of the nature and can be privatized. So if you have a group, we can take it end of the day for 1.5 hours just for the group itself. No one else is there, and they can be there, enjoy the waters, relax. We can also bring some drinks, non-alcoholic, they don't allowed because of the mindset of the place, but we can also create a little picnic, some food, some drinks, and people can enjoy it at the end of the way. It works really, really well. Another of the highlights of the island, it's the whale watching, the dolphin watching. Being located strategically in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean, Azores is part of the routes of cetacean of 27 cetacean species. We have some residents in the island, the humpback whales and no, sorry, not the humpback whales, the sperm whales and the dolphins. We have families that live there all year round, and they can be spotted. But we also have killer whales, humpback whales, blue whales passing there, especially between April to June, and the high chance of seeing them is really, really high. They can promise over 99% of times we see animals. So we can go into the ocean. We have catamarans, and we also have the reefs. That personally, it's my favorite way to go. But again, when sometimes clients prefer to be a bit more comfortable, also with some food and some drinks and some music, and they can use the catamaran to do this activity. Okay. Another curious thing about the island, I don't know if you've ever heard about it, but Sao Miguel has the only tea plantation in Europe and produces tea all year round. We have the chance to visit the factory. Also, if we go in the right time of the year, we can do some picking of the tea. We can also reserve some areas to do some more exclusive tea tastings, even in the house of the owners, and have a more not touristic, because being the only tea factory in Europe and being open to the public, depending on the time of the day, it can be and feel a little bit touristic, but we can adapt and create the experience that people feel special to enjoy this beautiful nectar of the island, what they call it. We also have, I don't know, Azores, if you go back to the history of the Azores used to produce a lot of orange before the phylloxera, which is the bug that killed the orange trees and vineyards. And then after that, they decided to produce beef, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about after, and also pineapples. Because of the microclimate they have greenhouses of pineapples, and they are one of the top producers. The quality of the pineapples is amazing, and Carol can vouch for it because she brought several back home. Then another, because of the nature of the island itself, it's great to do the hikings and do activities all around, especially if you have groups that love this connection with the nature. We can combine it and do it around the lakes, like you see it here, at the beach, in the middle of the forest. And I also had a group last year that did a combination where you had a picnic, so when they were lost in the middle of nature, and then suddenly you had a setup with beers, with pineapple cocktails in the middle of the forest. Was a really nice surprise moment for all of them. Bicycles works really well also on the island. One thing that we do often in the activities in the island is, for example, take the jeeps to the top of the cliff of one of the volcanoes, and then at the top you have the bicycles, and people have to bicycle down in a very busy day until the volcano crater and near the lake. And then when you get to the lake, you have the picnic set up there for lunch, and it's an activity that works really, really well. Once you get the volcano craters, you have, as I told you, we have 3 volcanoes mainly. 2 of them, we have the lakes that we can use to do activities. 2 of them that work really well because none of them we can swim. There's only one where we can swim. The other 2 are not allowed to swim because they're water preserved and because of the nature that lives there. But this one you can do kayaking, we can do stand-up paddle. And for example, if you're staying in a picnic along the lakes, and then in the afternoon you want to have optional activities, we often do, for example, one group goes kayaking, another group stand-up paddle, another one goes biking, another one goes trekking, and people can do whatever they want. They have a couple of hours after lunch. The ones that want to relax and have some wine just laying down next to the lake, they can. So there's different ways to adapt and enjoy the island itself. Talking about going back, I put it in the way I presented activities was the one we did it in our previous event. But as I told you, there's also different hot springs in the island. And if you don't want to go into the nature, or if you don't want to, you want to have more space, because the hot springs that I showed you before, they are not huge. And you want to have it with more space or in a more, not high end, because this is a natural pool. Also, this was created, this used to belong to, in the 18th century, to a very wealthy family, that they create this luxury park of Terra Nostra, and they create this pool for people to come and bathe themselves, the locals and the nobles, because there was also a casino. So this pool, it's huge, has a capacity up to 400 people. If you feel, but it's never filled, to be honest. They also have infrastructure. They have a hotel in the park. And if you stay over during the night in the hotel, you can also bathe yourself during the night. It's a different way to explore the hot springs. One of my favorite activities in the island, very exclusive, it's the chance to swim with dolphins, with wild dolphins around the island. This has a capacity of 8 people only. Unfortunately, we can only offer it as an optional because it's very special. But the good thing is we can do one group in the morning, we can do another group in the afternoon. And if we have a 3-4 days program, works well for everyone to experience this. The reason why we're not allowed to do more than 8 people in the morning or in the afternoon is to preserve the animals itself. They are wild species. They are not supposed to interact with us, but it's so unique and so special for you to be snorkeling in this ocean and see them, that the government gives a chance for people to see it from firsthand if they do this activity. I don't know if you remember, but I was mentioning before that are 4 extinct volcanoes in the island. 3 of them are in the island. The 4th is this one. This is called the islet. This islet is a natural reserve, and it's open during the summer, so from May to October. And we have the chance to go there and do the most amazing snorkeling around this little volcano crater. Another good thing is the access is only done by one boat that belongs to the government. So no private boats can have access to the islet. It's completely forbidden because of the wildlife that lives there. So again, if we buy all the tickets for a certain time of the day, we can also have this islet in private for the guests if they want. It's very, very special. We often indeed in the past, for example, people kayaking there, so that with a special permit we can kayak, not take the boat and can kayak to the islet. We get a special permit from the government, or we can take the boats and just go there and have the snorkeling experience. We also curious in the island, besides the production of pineapple, the production of meat, and also the amazing fish, because the island lives a lot from fishermen. They also produce really nice wine. So we don't have many wineries there, but this special one, Jardinet, is one that I love the most because it belongs to a small family. There are husband, wife, and 2 kids. The property itself, it has many of history. It has beautiful gardens, and they have this production of different wines from the island that guests can have the chance to taste, and is also very a good option when we need a backup. So one thing that also important in Azores, and we are more than used to do that, it's because, like I was mentioned before, the weather sometimes pay us some tricks, you know, and we're expecting a beautiful afternoon, and by some situation, the ocean is very rough, like we had in March, or it starts raining and we don't predict. We often have to find backups plans and things that, but we are so used to that normally in a couple of hours we have a solution, and most of the time Jardinet works well as a solution. For example, and if you're supposed to go into the water and see the whale watching, of course it's not the same, but we are always prepared to offer backup so people have things to do and don't just have to stay at the hotel looking at the TV or having beers. Okay. In terms of meals, as I told you before, Sao Miguel, it's not an island with a high-end type of restaurants, very gourmet. What is best about the island is the quality of the food, the quality of the fish and the meat that is served there, the ingredients. It's very farm-to-table concept. Most of restaurants, you have that. A lot of tapas, a lot of simple food, but so amazing, so fresh, so tasting, that no one comes back for the island saying they didn't love the food. And the restaurants that I'm going to show you here, I'm just going to stop by passing, are a little example of that, you know. This family style concept, we had a chance like with Carol to have a meal here in this one, and was really in Casabel, really nice experience of meat. We also have the chance of, because of the hot springs, there's an area of the island called Furnas, where you are able to cook your food under the earth. So we have this traditional cozido, which is a stew from the island that they do with vegetables, meat. They also do a vegetarian option if you want, and they just put it in the land around 5 a.m. and it takes 6 hours to cook. And by 12, we can go there. We can see our pot coming out of the land, and then we can taste this food that is only cooked in geothermal energy, nothing else, you know. And the taste of that, it just had some olive oil, some salt, and then it's the ingredients that give the taste to all the stew itself. Very simple. The picnics that I mentioned before, the good thing about the picnics, they can take place pretty much everywhere else in the island. We can adapt with the program. We have really good suppliers in the island that can adapt and tailor-make these picnics. Also be attention of the food restrictions, what people like and choose. Normally, we also choose areas, if possible, that has already these setups, as you see on the bottom, with tables and chairs. If not, we can bring blankets and pillows and do like a proper picnic. And if by any chance we think that the weather is going to be a little bit drizzle, we always bring tents to cover the food so people can still enjoy it if it's not pouring rain. Other options of the restaurant, this is very famous by their steak. It's the most famous steak in the island. Like I said, Azores is very famous by their beef, cheese, and butter production. So we also have a store in the city center of Ponta Delgada that Carol can also vouch, which is called the King of Cheese, and you have the most amazing collection of all cheeses produced there from all the islands. So from the cows itself, you have the beef, you have the milk that you can use. So when you go there, to taste these products, it's something that is very special and nothing compared with other things you can find in the world. You also have restaurants with this was inside a botanical garden with a more open air outdoor feeling. This one, I love it very much. It's also in the city center, that is known for being the best tapa restaurants in the city of Ponta Delgada, and has a good thing because they have a mezzanine, a first floor, as you can see here in the picture. Then we can privatize for the groups and have a tapas experience there, which is quite nice. And then this one, it's their hotelier school in the island. So this food, it's considered the more high-end we have in the island at the moment for groups. And this is cooked by the future of hotellerie of the island itself. So it's the students, the students from cooking and the students from waitering that will serve us and take care of us during the event. So at the same time you're enjoying the nice food they do, you also promoting them for be better professionals in the future, which is quite nice. And this one is walking distance from pretty much all the hotels in Ponta Delgada. In terms of venues, unfortunately, the island, we don't have many venues. As I told you, they are not used to receive groups, but we have at least 3 options that are very nice and beautiful. This one, it's in Furnas. It's located to the hot spring, the cooking area that I showed you. And this is a private house. The good thing and what I like about this venue, it has this rustic feeling, but at the same time, it's located inside this area that is open to the public from 9 a.m. to 6. And after 6, no one else can access, only the people that do events here. So, for example, if you want to do a dinner there in Furnas, you have the chance to create a special moment for the guests to see the geysers and the fumaroles, like they call, in a private without paying for more. It's very special. You also have a beautiful greenhouse in the botanical garden of Ponta Delgada in the city center with lush green gardens around where you can do welcome drinks, we can do entertainment, and also if you need, we can also serve the meals outside, but if the weather doesn't permit, you can always go inside. And this one, I personally like very much because this is a private house, is a private estate near Ponta Delgada, 15 minutes, called Pico de Cruz. So this belongs to one of the kind of noble families of the island. They are the only breeders of Lusitano horses in the islands. So they have this little room that has a capacity up to 80 people that is facing equestrian square. And while you're doing the meals there in a traditional way, you have the sons of the owners performing for you equestrian movements, you know, from high school, a little bit like the Austrian school, of course, not at that level, but the same style. And they can perform with music and during the dinner, creating this special moment in very Portuguese style. Just to pass you here quickly, and I'll send you this presentation. I give you a couple of grids of what can be done and combined, just for you to have an idea how it works. In terms, I didn't mention at the beginning, but the perfect ideal, of course we can do more, but the minimum, to be honest, the minimum days in the island for me should be 3 nights, 4 days. Why? Because of the distance and the flights, and sometimes if you do the connection, flights tend to arrive there around lunchtime or afternoon, and then the last day they tend to leave early in the morning in order for people to arrive home in a normal time. So at the end we end up with 2 good days of activities, as you can see here, for people to enjoy the island. So if you have the possibility of bringing them for 3 nights, 4 days, it's the perfect combination. If you have more time, the better, we can do more things. Okay, just 2 ideas. So this is just a picture. Perhaps you know 1 or 2 faces here on these pictures. This is from our funk trip there in March. As you can see, Carl was saying that the weather was not amazing, but there were some times of the day, as you can see, that we had the sun shining and these beautiful views to the volcano craters and the lakes itself. What's new about Lisbon? There's, as you can see, as being a capital, as being one of the top cities in Europe, there's always tons of things happening. And to be honest, if I put here the entire list of new things we can stay, I would needed 3 hours of your time to show you everything. So I decided just to take some segments and give you the top 3, in my opinion, of what's new and works well in terms of hotels, restaurants, venues, and activities. In terms of hotels in Lisbon, just to show you, we're going to have the first ME in Lisbon. That was supposed to open this spring, but because of some situations, they are planned to open September this year. 213 rooms, really well located near Marquês de Pombal. It's a beautiful property, it has this amazing rooftop with 360 views over the city, with a nice restaurant and a bar, and it's a great option either for meetings or incentives. To be honest, their meeting space is good, but it's not the best in the city. So if it was my choice, I would use it more for incentives. Also, a new opening from this year, it's the McCann Hotel. So this is a a palace downtown Lisbon near the bridge, Alcântara area, if you've been in Lisbon. That is a massive former noble house that was by the Família Amorim, and they decided to create the Museum of Contemporary Art together with the hotel. So they are incorporated in each other. The cool thing about this hotel, it's a theme hotel. So if you have clients that love art, that love culture, and they especially love the idea of having access to the museum when no one else has, because you have more than 600 art pieces available in the property for them to see on their own. It's not a huge hotel, so we can also do exclusivities if you like. And it's a really great way to give a theme, because Lisbon is so rich of art in so many ways that if by any chance you want to create a concept around art, this is a perfect hotel for that. In terms of 4 stars, this for me, it's very excited, because if you ever did things in Lisbon, you know that unfortunately most of our 4 stars, and we have clients that prefer 4 stars over 5, they are not located in the city center or close to the city center. The ones that we have downtown, either they're very small, either they don't accept groups because they are into the leisure tourism. So the opening of Lago Santa Joana, he's going to be 1 year old this year, was a breath of fresh air for us, because they have 370 rooms, 4 stars, that can accommodate groups, and they are located in the center of the city. So it's great option when you have a group that wants to focus more their budget in the content of the group itself and not in the property. This is a great option. In terms of activities, some new things that you're gonna see. Again, you're going to see some familiar faces on this picture. This is a new product that started November last year. So this is by the hands of a local chef, Luisa Sobral. She has this space in the heart of the city where you can do a traditional Portuguese cozy dinner, like you were invited by a family. So basically this food is done by a team of selected local chefs that they bring their family recipes into the table. So as you can see, this is like being in a house. And you can use this space in many different ways. This was our final dinner during the FAM trip when we did the connection through Lisbon, and everyone had a chance. This has a capacity up to 20 people, and it's a perfect way to do a final dinner or even a tapas dinner with a fado performance at the beginning of a smaller group. Works really well. Also if you don't want to use it for a meal, it's also great to do small workshops. So codfish cakes, custard tart workshops, instead of doing in a kitchen or something, you can do it in this little house. The workshops, we do it up to 30 people, and it works really well as an optional activity, or even if for a smaller group. It's really well located. We can even go to the market, because this is next to Time Out Market. We can even go to the market in the morning, pick up the ingredients, and then come and cook them here. So it's a really nice activity. A second one, I don't know if you heard about this place. This is a water reservoir that we have in the center of the city, that they start doing this 3D 360-degree projection video mapping for children. So basically this was to give children a little sense of art. So they did for Van Gogh, Monet, Klimt, exhibitions, and the schools used to they still bring their kids in order to see these exhibitions, but we approach them to be able to offer this in exclusive for our guests. So this is a very special moment, because you go there, you just see a water reservoir, they click the button, and this magic happens. And the good thing is they also have, as you can see here, you can see, you don't see it much because of the lights, but I can send you more pictures if you want. They also have a platform in the middle of the water reservoir with a capacity up to 40 people, and we can do meals there. So for dinners works really well, because guests arrive there, they have a rooftop, they do a welcome drink on the top, they come down, they have their meal there for 40 people, they just see the limestone and the water around them, and suddenly we click the button and you have this amazing entertainment happening where they are immersed in this exhibition. They can also be tailor-made if you want. Of course, it costs more money, but we can also incorporate in the existing exhibitions the logo of the company if the colors agreed, or some keywords and we can adapt some of the presentations in order to be more tailor-made for the client if they want. Another experience that I like very much, if you also know a little bit about history of Portugal, we used to had, she died 15 years ago, if I'm not mistaken, more or less, our diva of Fado, which was called Amália. So she was our best singer of Fado. Fado is our traditional song of Portugal, World Heritage by UNESCO. And she used to live in a house downtown Lisbon that with her that they decided to keep the house exactly like she was when she was living there and transform it and in a foundation to support Fado. So what we can do there, of course, is open to the public, but we can privatize it for guests. We can also do a visit of the house. And then on her patio, as you can see here on the bottom, we can have, if it's an afternoon activity, we do the visit, and then we had a Fado concert for them with a cherry liquor. If you want to go a little bit more upscale, we can also do meals on this courtyard with the Fado music on support. It's also a nice option for an exclusive experience of the city of Lisbon instead of going downtown to Alfama with anyone else, okay? In terms of restaurants, just highlight some of the new things we have in the city. The Acosta restaurant, which belongs to our chef Olivier, which is a famous Portuguese chef, that is located in the main square facing the marina. And it's a really fine dining option for groups, and they do groups, which is quite nice. Also, if it's a concept that is picking up a lot, especially in Spain and Portugal, it's the restaurants that become a club after. So included in the package in going to the restaurant, you can have the entire restaurant. This one is a big one, or area. And then after dinner, the DJ comes up, the music comes up, and it's time to dance without moving from places. This works a lot, especially if we have Portugal is known by the nightlife that starts very late. In this case, the restaurants by 10:30, 11 o'clock, the latest, it's time to party. So by midnight, half past midnight, if they want to go home, they can, and they have the full experience. And it's really good value for money. Also wanted to tell you about Encanto. Encanto, it's a restaurant that belongs to José Vilés, one of our famous chefs. And has two curiosities. First, it's a 100% vegetarian restaurant, and they won last year their first Michelin star. So it's a vegetarian restaurant with a Michelin star in the heart of the city, and it's a really, really nice property, really nice experiences, and also property, of course, for guests to look at meals in a different way. And for groups, they do this most amazing menus, works really, really well. Going more into Cascais, which is also the area of Lisbon, from the same chef, Maré, because José Vilés likes to do different things and different concepts. He opened also during last year his first seafood restaurant overlooking the ocean of Cascais. The good thing about this restaurant is this area that you see here, this picture, it's a private area. So the restaurant is divided in two areas. When you enter on the left side, it's more where you do small groups or people if you go with their families. On the right side, we have this room with a capacity up to 60 people that we can privatize, which is often rare in the restaurants in the Cascais coast. So it's a really nice option if you want to give it a more exclusive experience. In terms of venues, just highlight three of them too. Maravilha 8, it's a location in the heart of the city of Lisbon. So most of the cities, they start and they keep growing from inside to the outside. And the old areas that used to be factories or warehouses that were abandoned for many years, they are started to bring to life. This project here, this is a complex, a huge complex of 22,000 square meters of warehouses that became the new creative hub. A lot of you people know the Alex factory in the city center of Lisbon. So the same creator of Alex factory, which was Luís Filipe, he now created Eita Maravilha and has the space where you can do tons of meals, activities, options. He also has markets, concerts, but on the top, it has this kind of funky venue area where you can do events up to 250 people, really kind of underground, but very spectacular, and it really surprises the guests when doing these events. Also, this rooftop, so in here, you don't see it much, and I can send you more pictures, but it's in the main avenue near the Marquês de Pombal, this rooftop that has capacity for meetings, for meals, for activities, for workshops. It has this amazing view over Lisbon, and you can use it also for all kinds of events, a capacity up to 100 people, and especially we more and more have guests asking for rooftops to do their events, their welcome dinners, their final dinners, and this is a great option. Suspenso Avenida. And the final one that I wanted to mention, it's this property in Sintra, which is in the slopes of the mountain of Sintra, this romantic house that has this amazing greenhouse in their gardens with great views over the natural park. That you have the chance, if you want to do a spectacular dinner. This only works for dinners. The main reason why is because, as you know, Sintra is a very demand location during the day for visitors and tourists. So it will take us ages to arrive there if you do lunches or afternoon activities. By night, because all monuments are closed, the access is very easy, and this place, it's the most spectacular estate where you can do meals, presentations. We did car presentations there. It's very unique and very special. And that's it, pretty much what I had to. Of course, this is one glimpse of the new things we're always looking and presenting. So if you are interested in knowing more, especially about venues or restaurants or other activities, even anything else around the country, let me know. We can also have a one-to-one chat, and I can present you more things if you want.